Subscribe. First and foremost, before I go into anything, I just need to get some thank yous out. So, my first thank you is going to Brian. Thank you very much for being there and just really doing what you say. And Bill Higgins, a very special thank you to you for being such a friend that you noticed that I wasn't on social media very much and calling to make sure I was okay. And I was not okay. And I appreciate that so much. And all you do for those people to fight for equitable pay and making sure that all of us in this sphere are taken care of. For all your support, Bill. It means the world. And I love what you do. You do an amazing job. Thank you to Michael for sending always supplies and things from my personal wish list. I appreciate it so, so very much. You have really, especially this year, helped a lot in making sure that supplies are that are needed are getting to where they need to go, and it's life saving. It really is. Like these blankets, they're gonna keep people from losing limbs or getting sick or dying. Like it's such a big deal, and just a huge thank you to Sean A, who sent the paints. Thank you so very much. I have not been painting very much because I was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of blankets, right? Because there was that whole, like fundraiser. So I spent like 3 days crocheting, like crazy. And here's where I'm at on the third blanket. I still have not finished the third blanket yet, but we're gonna, ta-da! I'm getting there. Got my little marker in there, but it is coming along and it's gonna be warm and cozy. And here's that little bit of the Tunisian crochet stitch right there. I gotta hide that though. I don't really like that, so I think I'm gonna like do a little stitch there to kind of hide that a little bit. But this will go to somebody, and hopefully it will keep them warm and kind of make them smile. So I'm hoping for that. So this is the third one. Um, and I've gotten donations of yarn, and so I am gonna take a break for crocheting for a little bit, and I'll probably like do a little bit of quilting, but I'm gonna get back to painting because I wanted to show you guys too, like what I'll do sometimes is that there'll be like paintings that I haven't, like I'm just not fond of, right? Or I don't like the something in it. And so I'll just set them off to the side to work on them another time when it like just strikes me. So I have a whole bunch of them there that I'm gonna take out little by little and paint. So, but that's going to be in a little bit. Like I said, I am going to finish this third one. I'm going to address some comments. Mariana, hello from Vancouver, Washington. My littlest one lives in Vancouver. Happy holidays to you as well. Hi, Mama Mode. Hello. Marilee, pretty blanket. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I have been working really hard on these blankets, and I just, I don't know. I just think that having it, like, blankets are so special out there, right? And it's, definitely warmth is the big factor, right? We need to keep people warm. But I think sometimes having something colorful and made, like I'm making this with the thought of them. I don't know who they are, but I am making this with the thought of someone curling up and finding comfort in it. And I think that that is like, I love that. I love that. And I, sit and watch some dumb TV, do it. How's Seattle? It's good. It's good. Marilee's from Utah. Wonderful. Utah. And that was Mama Mode's from Alaska. Viviani. Hi. Thank you. All the best to you. And Noodles is here. Yay. Hi, Noodles. Marina, you're gifted. It's priceless. Oh, thank you so much. So, handmade with love are the best gifts. I think so too. And I think and maybe it's because like my grandmother taught me how to crochet. And so it's just such a treasured thing for me. like some of my best memories were being I didn't know she had cancer at the time and she was getting up for her meds, but it'd be like she'd put me to sleep like way early when I was like 5 or 6, and so I'd wake up, at like 10 something, and we'd sit and she taught me how to crochet. Just the basics, right? Like I've had to pick up on new stitches, and I am furiously watching TikTok for all these different things, and I'm now I'm going into the whole like, and then I will just buy raw material and I will dye it myself, and suddenly I'm going to have a spinning wheel. I this kind of craft might get out of hand. I'm just warning people. I absolutely love it, and I love it from beginning to finish, and there's just something so calming and mindful about it. And so, yeah. Some of the things I wanted to talk about today, honestly, the last few weeks have been really rough on me. I have been struggling to just barely function, honestly. And there's a reason in the title, it's still blessed. So that's where it's going. So don't get too down yet. So a lot of people know, if you've watched my blogs, that my son has substance use disorder. And he was released to my home on an electronic monitoring. And thank you, Web Surfer Guy. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too. Yay, I can like it too. Awesome. Thank you. So my son has substance use disorder, and he stays with me, or stayed with me. And it was getting so bad, right? Like there was supposed to be some accountability. There was zero accountability. And frankly, he did not want to get help. He was not ready, nor did he want to do anything. Um, Hold on. Noodles said, tell you she starts her new job. Yeah! As a safe companion patient center. I am celebrating you, Noodles. Good job. Good job. You are going to rock at that. You are going to rock. And I am sending you so much love and support, cheering you on. Um, yeah, that's amazing. That's good. See what I mean? Like there's always some wins to celebrate. Um, so anyway, it was really heading downhill. And then I had somebody that I was sure was a friend of mine not manipulate, try to manipulate me and cross boundaries that I have boundaries for a reason. And they tried to in a horrible way, tried to cross those boundaries, and, just called me horrible names, said horrible things. And it really hit me hard, right? Like, it was really difficult. Of course, I kept my boundaries strong, and I'm like, I don't ever contact me again. But it was hurtful, and it really sparked something in me. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So throughout, my life, anytime there has been any kind of inappropriate boundary crossing, ridiculous things leveled at me by people who use like friendship as a way to try and start something, romantically or whatever. It has always been, what did I do, right? Even if you were assaulted, what did you do? What were you wearing? How did you act? What did you say? Did you do all these things? And it really brought that back. So much so that I'm like looking through all the, like, how could I have given anybody any idea, like, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And you know what? Sometimes it's just not that. And I had to talk with my therapist about it, because it's been like that a lot of my life. Is as soon as somebody crosses a boundary, I immediately turn that inward and start attacking myself about, how I could have had stronger boundaries or whatever. And that kind of feeds into, setting that, realizing that this person had crossed that boundary and had gotten to the point where I had to say, I'm sorry, but there's absolutely not. Absolutely not. And and even though it's awful and it sucks, it gave me some clarity on some things. Let me, good job keeping your fences secured, right? Try the lemon peel stitch, no holes in it, nice texture. I have, yes, I have been looking at those. The houndstooth and also the waffle stitch. I want to try that, but I want to try it with cashmere, right? So it'd be like super soft. Okay, anyway, going back to the story. So sorry, I get sidetracked so easy. Um, so anyway, I've been dealing with that, and then I'm dealing with the fact that I have offered absolutely every resource to my son, and he has just flat out, if not maybe tried for a minute, flat out just kind of refused. So I was getting super sick, right? So I'm going to bed and I'm trying to stay up as late as I can so that he's not leaving the stove on, because that happened a couple times. And waking up in the morning to like burnt smell, like he had burned pans or something. And I started getting really sick, right? So my heart is in my throat. My heart's pounding. I kind of feel like I might be having a heart attack. My body just feels like it's breaking down. My muscles hurt. And he's, so it was like this weird like culmination of everything coming together. And I'm out walking with Rowan and I'm talking with my friend Sheila, who is, of course, my go-to. And, she just like reiterated that I do have to watch over my own health. And it is not fair either to the other people in my life to let things get so out of hand that I've put myself in danger. I came back home with some peace and I told my son that unfortunately I was going to have to revoke the monitoring. He was no longer welcome in my home. And so we did it the right way. I called the detention officer and we went through it. And it was honestly one of the hardest things. There is nothing, like the guy called and he's like, I just need to hear you say that he is no longer welcome in your home. That sentence was so hard to say because the truth is if in a million lifetimes, I never thought I would have to say those words ever. And it got to that point. And so he had to leave. After he left, I went into his room where he was and found the reason that, with the most probability, was the reason that I was getting sick. And it was because he was smoking the drugs in my house. So I have had to wash all walls, change things out, throw a lot of stuff away, and just really hope it didn't affect my animals. I went to bed with like all of this on my heart and just hurting, right? Just like I felt like my soul was being crushed. Like I just was at a low, a real low. And yeah, I went to bed and just, because usually, like with decisions and things, I always like, if I make a decision, I will go to sleep. And then by the next day, I either feel okay with the decision or I'm rethinking and, processing maybe where I'd gone wrong. I woke up in the morning and I felt great. I felt good. I went and did outreach with Rowan even. Like Rowan broke the ice. I was talking to people about the Ballard Link extension and I felt safe. And I am so proud of myself for standing up for myself to be safe. It was a really hard decision. And I keep going back as well to what my therapist said about harm reduction. And harm reduction does not require you to put yourself in harm's way. And even though I am his mother, I also have other children. And I have to be there for them as healthy as humanly possible for as long as I possibly can to be in their life, right? Like, it has to be that way. So that was very, very difficult. And then right after that, on a work note, we find out that, across the board last year, homelessness rose 12%. And that's just an undercount, right? The point in time count, we can double that. The point in time count is notoriously low. And so there was just a lot of like bad news, rough stuff, knowing that there's just this culmination of things. There's genocide going on in a couple, 3, 4 countries. And, it's heartbreaking. And especially, I care so deeply about human rights. I really do. It is a passion. It is my soul. I believe in equity. I believe that every human being has a right to have their needs met so that they can thrive. And I believe if we do that, our communities and our lives and everything will just be better. People can do better when their needs are met. Taking basic needs away, or not even taking them, but making the barrier so hard and so high to be able to maintain oneself isn't good. And it's not good for the entire public health, which I have to say that, oh, Mom, oh, hi, Omar. I'm good. Mama mode, yes. Keeping yourself, getting grounded in your mental health is the right thing. You did right. Doesn't make it easy, doesn't make it not painful, but it was the right thing. I think it was too. And there's something that came up too about loving him to death, right? Loving him so much that there was no accountability. Loving him so much that I tiptoed and didn't want to bother him. Putting all needs aside except that one hope that if you let him rest enough today, he will make that choice tomorrow, those kind of things. And so it's never an easy thing. And my heart goes out to, all the people who've had to do this. It's not an easy thing, and it doesn't change the fact that I love him so much. But it does change the dynamic in which I'm willing to participate. So, you are one of the human beings that needs need to be met, right? Exactly, exactly. Yes, I matter too. And that was something that I had, and I think it's so important that we have those friends, right? Like Sheila, Bill, Brian, all mama mode that tell you, you matter too. Like, it's not just about everybody else all the time. Like, you are one of the whole. If, and I've always said that too. Like, if everybody is doing well, I am one of everybody, so I'm doing well too, right? So that's why I want everybody to do well, because literally, I'm everybody too. So, you know what I mean? It just seems reasonable, rational, and logical to me. So I have been working with different entities. Many of you know I work with, so I'm the co-founder of Shelter App, which is a resource app, and it provides location-based resources. So resources when you need them, where you're at. And I work with lots of other agencies. I'm not going to list them all, but I am going to say that tonight was my last night as chair of the governance council for Seattle King County Public Health Governance Council. I was the chair, and the year previous I was a vice chair, and tonight was my last night. And I ended up getting teary at the end because really for the first time in decades, maybe, they actually gave me this. This is a framed certificate of appreciation with my name. And the reason this is so big to me Like, I'm still not that far out, right? And I work with people, like, I'm still on the council, right? I'm just not going to be chair anymore. We have another wonderful chair, and she's going to do amazing, and I'm always there for background support all the time, anytime it's needed. But to be able to make a difference in this sphere, right? To work with people that I admire. They're just amazing, right? These people, not only are they compassionate, they're passionate about saving lives and community and public health. And we are always having discussions about, predictive analysis and our data and where it's going and homeless mortality. And we are on the ball. And they've never exploited me, right? They have always made sure that I was valued, that I was paid, and that it didn't even feel like leadership. It felt like collaboration. And I put a post in on LinkedIn talking about that. And I was just saying that, I think there's so many companies that are like, we're a family. I've heard it a million times, right? I think we all have. But it's a cat, Angie. It's a cat. It is Beans. And yes, she is wandering around the house making a lot of noise. um, sorry. She's over here just like I'm telling a story. Raj, yeah, it's actually Raj, but we call her Beans, Meanie Baby, Miss Ma'am, knock it off. She is very talkative. But I'm so honored to be part of the collaboration. And, this, I never really thought about, like having something printed in a frame. And I know they meant it, right? Like they mean that they really mean I made a nobody in that sphere really kind of talks out their ass. So if they say something, they mean it. And so it was just an honor to get this, and I really wanted to share it with all of you, just because it meant so much to me. And also, this work is so important, and I'm going to continue and continue and continue until human rights are met, right? Like across the globe. So, yeah, that happened tonight. I'm super excited. I had to tell everybody about it and just kind of show you guys where I'm at with things. Jane, so proud of you. Thank you. I saw you when you were on Visible People, and I recently just found you. Do you have PTSD after you got housed? That is a really good question. So I have what's like complex PTSD, and that comes from like childhood abuse, foster care, and then the PTSD part, of course, domestic violence, all of that. Like homelessness definitely left me with scars, but I already had a lot of PTSD that was compounded by the homelessness. So it made it worse. And I think that this is honestly, since I've been housed, and I'm not saying that, there have not been traumatic events while I've been housed, there has been, but I'm so much better able to handle it now. I do have some lingering issues with, so I'm kind of borderline agoraphobic, right? So I have a problem with getting out, leaving the house, right? I do almost everything virtually. If I got to get supplies out, my truck broke down, so I just now send them with the distribution, call somebody up and be like, distribute it here, 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 even in that aspect. But I've been talking with my therapist a lot. I really have a great therapist now, guys. He's really great. About the fact that I thought it just gets better, right? I'll just ignore it and I will grow accustomed to it and it'll get better. And it actually got worse. And apparently that's a thing. And so I have to work on exposure, which means even when I am screaming inside. But also, I, again, super blessed because I got Rowan, right? And so I have a psychiatric service dog that when I feel like I just need to get out, that's what I do. I grab her, and more often than not, I'm distracted and I totally forget my anxiety after about a mile in. So, there's ways that I have found to help, but I also know this, that the effects of the trauma of my life are with me forever, right? It isn't like I learn how to deal with it, I learn how to cope with it, I learn how to work around it. But I don't want to give people the impression that somehow it just goes away. It is going to be a struggle, more likely for the rest of my life. And it also, those kind of traumas have a physical effect on your body, down even to the cellular components. And if you want to know more about like ACE scores or ACEs, Dr. Nadine Burke does some great work on that. Um, Hi, Mayim. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Benji. Oh, thank you. From the Philippines. Hi from Seattle. So that's what's going on in life right now, guys. I did get another invitation to take part in the Bring Human Rights Local program, which I have done for the last 2 years. So this will be my third year doing that. Super excited. Oh, I don't know. I got excited because I don't know if I gave you guys a good news too. Um, so I got notice that I am going to be presenting in May in Phoenix for the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council conference, their annual conference. And I will be presenting on supportive services and TBI and homelessness, TBI being traumatic brain injury. So I will be talking about, just some of the supportive things and, how that affects somebody who's experiencing homelessness and the resources that they get and things that we can do to improve the care of those that have experienced that. So, yeah, got super excited. I got chosen. And then I have, and like, I'm so excited. Like, I totally forgot all this news too, because it's like really great. And I guess again, that's why I put on there still blessed. Like, there's still really wonderful things happening. So, um, Vicky and I are going to present on climate change and homelessness as it impacts humans and pets. And then we're going to also present to the UW Department of Ecology for their Diversity, Equity, Inclusion series on just like pollution. It's called anthropogenic chemicals, but we're just going to call it pollution, right? So the different kinds of pollutants and the effects that that has on the population that is outside. So super excited. There's a lot of cool experiences coming, and I am just like, yay! So I do see more people getting engaged and getting educated on these subjects, and all I can think of is, just keep messaging, keep pushing it out, keep letting people know, and showing out that compassion and those evidence-based practices. Yeah, 48 to 53% have had traumatic brain injuries. Yeah, huge numbers. And I have come so far. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go through the other comments and I'm gonna tell you something. 91% of homeless people had childhood trauma. That's for chronically homeless people. A lot of the rise in homelessness we're seeing right now is first timers. So people who have never experienced homelessness before, and we're seeing a lot of rise in seniors and children. So it's not good. And especially when you have a population that, just has some very, very special needs, right? And they're medically fragile. You're the dog. Hello. And thank you for, yes, absolutely. I love interacting. So if you have questions or comments or whatever, always throw them in. Like, I love that. Let's see. Popcorn, great popcorn moment TV. I care. You'll do grand at it. Thank you. I'm really excited because I see it being brought forth more, right? As we come up with these things, and it's something that I've said for a long time, is that when you have a traumatic brain injury or several, you really do need a care team that understands how that impacts you. Because each brain injury is different, right? Depending on the area of the brain that's injured. For myself, if you can see here, you see there's a scar that runs all the way here. So it almost cut all the way through my eyelid and I was bleeding into my brain here, right? That was one of them. I've had several. And so that's my frontal lobe. It really had an impact on my impulse control, temper, anger, ability to, like, all of these things because it was part of my frontal lobe. I also was impacted here. That had a lot to do with my communication, how I spoke, what I understood. If I was tired, it get worse. That's why I went to speech pathology, right? So there are things that they need to know. I'm also bipolar. If you have a traumatic brain injury and it happens to be like frontal lobe and you have bipolar, you might cycle much faster than somebody would normally. They have to be careful on what meds they give you in case you go manic, right? So a med that could treat your TBI may not be appropriate for your bipolar because it could send you into a dangerous state of being. So there's a fine line there with some of these neurological issues. And so educating people further about it is so important. And it is definitely like something I am super, super passionate about. Let's see, sending lab can't find imaging. Yes, the majority of our new clients are recently evicted. Yeah. And here's the thing, like I was talking to somebody today about this and I said, so evictions have got almost doubled in a lot of places, right, from pre-pandemic levels. And what I'm seeing are the evictions that are taking place are in affordable housing. So what we're doing in essence is just like revolving door people, right? Get them into affordable housing, then they get evicted. Then they're homeless again. You put another family in there and the cycle starts again. There has to be a way. Well, there is a way. I don't there is a way. The problem is that we live in a capitalist society in a capitalist country. And we have a lot of people in this country that are like, well, it's never been done that way. And it's like, yeah, it hasn't. Now look at what we have to deal with, right? And to even point out to them that it is fiscally irresponsible to not provide our people with their basic needs. It is. It is completely so much more expensive to have rampant poverty. It like I could take you through like so many numbers. It's crazy. I wrote but if you are interested in that, I did co-author a paper with the Seattle Human Rights Commission on just, the amount it would take to just put people in a one bedroom, right? But then you look at the cost of not doing it and you're looking at 2 to 3 times. So it's pretty significant. Um, let's see, several, yeah, that would be us. Yeah. Right? Mama Mo knows. Seattle Judy, hi, how are you? It's good to see you on here. Makes for a unique sense of humor too. It does. It really does. And that is, yeah, there's a lot of inside humor with that, with traumatic brain injuries. But then again, like, it depends on, because I look at it this way, right? Like, in the end, the reason I feel that it's so important to talk to people about it, to spread awareness, to be an open book, share with people my story, right? Is because it can be so isolating. It can make people feel like they have nowhere to turn. And for many of us, we felt like our old self died. And so we were grieving the loss of ourself while trying to find this new person and how to interact in a mind and body that didn't want to do it all the time. And that's a really difficult thing. And if you're vulnerable and experiencing homelessness, how do you do that? And how do you support a person in that? And what are the specialized needs that maybe they have? Knowing that their risk of suicide is much higher depending on, how many they've had and what kinds. Is it a back and forth injury or was it you hit your head, right? Like there's so many factors. If you've had traumatic brain injuries, you have an increased risk of dementia later on in life. There's things that we need to look at, and especially now that we as the data comes through, we are seeing a rise in what we would call earlier dementia. So starting in like late 40s, early 50s. So yeah, but good news, great news. There are a lot of people way smarter than me working on this, and a lot of people that are just as smart as me right behind them helping up and doing our best. So there's a lot of people being engaged and working on this, and I just implore everybody that has a little bit of capacity, just a little bit, whether that be like educate a friend, put a post it on Facebook, make a little human rights graphic, just do what you can, because in the end, it all matters. It all matters and it's all important. And so yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. Um, oh, thank you, Mayim. I appreciate that. I think that, yeah, I think that the work, it's wonderful work. It's very frustrating because, we want to smile and tell everybody, like, oh, we're going to fix it. But here's the thing, it's a little late. It's a little late in the game. Like, we're hitting into unprecedented times, and we're at a space where our government isn't working for us. And we don't know if we're going to come out of this. And there's a lot of scary things coming. So I think the spheres that I'm working in are really trying to be very realistic about this and just kind of put on our put on our game faces and know that it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. But we're down. And we'll be down in the ground and in the mud and online and in the meetings and doing everything we can to grab as many people and save as many lives as possible. So let's see. Dean, hello there, just hanging out in the cove. Oh, Vancouver! Ha! I get it. So anyway, happy holidays, everybody. I've kind of talked everybody's ear off. If anybody has any questions or comments, put them in and I'll address them before I go. Look, I did a tree too. I went on Buy Nothing and I was like, because I wasn't sure I was gonna do a tree, right? Like I was like, I don't know, like it's. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm doing a tree. So I put a request out on Buy Nothing, and somebody delivered me a tree, and I thought it was like the sweetest thing. So I like put down a little tree. Only a couple of the birds got pulled off of it. Cats. Seattle Judy. One common thing I heard from newly housed homeless folks, they leave their backpack by the door because it's a huge adjustment. Yep. Yep. I had my bag packed for probably the first 2 years. I think it was the second year that I finally unpacked it and like let my daughter borrow my backpack and she just my daughter, she just took it. So I've gotten past that point, but even now, for example, it takes nothing for me to panic and start clearing things out. I had a couple friends that were moving, and one of them, well, actually, both of them had to move. It wasn't really a choice. And I started panicking as if I was moving and immediately started cleaning, feeling the need to, like, maybe I should have a suitcase just in case what if I got evicted? Is there any chance of me getting evicted? No. Am I in a situation where I'm going to be evicted? No. Is it a fear every single day? Absolutely. Even with no reasoning, right? There is no rhyme or reason to the point so much that I had to tell them, please do not put notes on my door. It can cause a full out panic if I see a note taped to my door, even though I don't know what it says. And it's going to have nothing to do with me having to leave. It causes a panic attack. I will catch myself wondering what I will do if I'm cold again. It's always going to be a part of me. But also, knowing that I survived is also going to be a part of me, and that I survived with grace, and I survived in a manner that has led me to help other people. And for me, that's everything, right? But I also, on another hand, use my voice in a way that I'm not like, even if my knees shake, I will raise my voice, because here's the thing. I've had it all taken away. I've lost it all. Everything. Every single thing. Everything. Even my glasses at one point. Like, I have lost it all. What can they take from me for speaking the truth? Right? So there's a strength in going through some of these things that will always be with me just because of the survival of it. So there is good and bad things that stay with you for a long time. Let's see. It's really late in Seattle. Yes, it is. But I was like, I came home and I was super excited and kind of bouncy. And then I decided to crochet a little bit. And then I was like, oh, I won't do a vlog until tomorrow. And I was like, if you say tomorrow, I do this to myself all the time. I'll be like, I'm going to do a vlog tonight. And then I wait until like midnight. And I'm like, no, nobody wants to. It's like going to be so late. And then I go to bed. And then I don't do it. And so this time I was like, you know what? I'm up. I'm feeling good. I'm just like it. While it's been hard, it's good, and I'm good, and I'm blessed, and I just wanted to share everything with you guys cause cause I enjoy it, and I enjoy speaking with you guys and just interacting, and I appreciate your support, and yeah, it's great. The treat is gorgeous as usual. Thank you. Jane, I'm going to share this with my board. I have a speech therapist on my board who specializes in brain injury. It's nice to hear others talk about these things. Sorry. No, actually, Jane, first, comment all you want. Like, seriously, I love these conversations. This is something I'm passionate about, and I can literally talk forever on this subject. So, absolutely go ahead and comment. It's something that needs to be talked about. And, I never would have guessed I would have had to have speech pathology, right? But there's aphasia. And it always strikes me. So we had our National Healthcare for the Homeless Council convening, and I was speaking on a personal story of like the journey through traumatic brain injury and aphasia, and being unable to communicate when I got tired, or if I was too stressed, I couldn't find words and they weren't coming out right, or I would misunderstand. And after I gave my talk, I was approached by a lady in tears who had aphasia, who never would have thought that she would see anybody with that condition doing public speaking. And, you know, just seeing somebody else and being represented and seeing representation is so important. When I first had my brain injuries, the school of thought was that you had like a year, right? A year out, and that's kind of you leveled off and that's where you stayed. And that's not true. Like next year will be almost a decade from my last one. And I've come so far, and I have so far to go. And I think educating people that keep going, you'd be surprised what you can do. Let's see. Amanda, I miss my job, but retirement happened, right? You're a gift to Seattle. Oh, thank you so much. I have to say, I absolutely love this city. Do I think we got a lot to work on? Yeah. But I love the fact that we talk about it and we come together to do it. And there's something special about the fact that even in the most dire of circumstances, I was still thankful to be here. Like, this is a very special place to me. And I'm glad that you're here too, Seattle Judy. And I appreciate all the, you talk about retirement happened, but that doesn't, like, I know you still educate people, you still talk about it. It's still in your soul, and that doesn't stop. And so you are definitely a collaborator on this. Thank you. You're welcome. Dean, I totally have my bug out bag ready to go. Nothing to do with my former homelessness or fear of eviction. It's because there is a horrible fire that I survived. Yeah, yeah, that'll do it too. Absolutely. Any situation where you've had to like leave in a hurry or there could be a chance of it. Yeah, and that's fair. And, that's something that I have had for a long time until, like I said, I started letting my kids borrow stuff. And then I didn't have it anymore. But I still have like life straws. I've got I have the stuff to throw in if I need it. And I don't think that's ever going to change. There are situations that happen, and we are living in an ever changing world, and it's changing quickly. And I think that it's just smart to have something set aside that would be important to survival if had to grab and go. Sandeep, hello. Happy holidays to you. And I understand. Oh, girl, I talk about it constantly. My husband has to tell me to cut it off, but I don't. That is great because Rowan never says that. She lets me just go on and on and on and on. And and that's the thing too is like it becomes part of your soul. It becomes like it's just part of my personality, right? Like this is everybody knows. Like if you have a conversation with her, it's going to end up on human rights at some point. Like no one can have a conversation with me without it coming around to the fact that we need human rights. But that is so awesome. And I'm so glad that you were here and found this channel because this is definitely a place that we can talk it up on that subject for sure. So much has been learned regarding neuroplasticity. Absolutely. Dr. Carolyn Leaf has gobs of research on it. Yes, 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 yes. And yes, Seattle Duty is great too. Motivate kind. My escape plan is even more important now as since then I became an amputee, right leg below knee. Yeah, and I think that that's something that we need to address as well is, and especially in emergencies, is a sense of ableism, right? And I hadn't really, because, mine is like invisible disability, right? And we don't talk enough about what happens if the elevators go down, right? And you have people that have limited or no mobility. What happens to them in situations like that? Do we have a plan? Do the neighbors know? Are we educating people on the things that can happen in those scenarios? And I think not enough is being done on that. And so, and that's just in every emergency situation. The emergency, goes out as in, I always kind of tease them because they're like, oh, carry cash and this and this and this. So I was like, so you're assuming that by the time these events happen that people are able to save something when we know that the greatest impact goes to those that have the least, right? Interesting. Isn't that brain wandering, reminiscing part of brain healing? It definitely can be. It can be. One thing that I noticed, and I don't know if other people have this or not either, but when I'm highly stressed, right, and I get inflamed. So what'll happen is if my body's inflamed, my brain is probably also inflamed. So I'll get kind of foggy, but then I will just like if that's the case, if I'm inflamed, I will sweat so bad. Like it'll be the worst. And it's not the like perimenopause ones that are like happening now. It's a specific like inflammation sweat. Yes, I'm aging myself, but it's happening and I'm going to learn how to deal with it. part of life. Um, but yeah, I think that, our brain, I try to pay attention to when I need rest, which I'm up like super late right now. Look at me go. But I also don't have an early morning meeting, so I'm going to be able to sleep in, which is awesome sauce. Um, Yes, it is a part of your soul. I get embarrassed when people call me an angel or something when it wasn't for my volunteers and donors. I could do nothing, right? And I think sometimes, yeah, and I also get that because it's like, hey, in our sphere, so there's a lot of people like one of my great friends, her name is Jaja. Jaja loves humanity. She loves everybody. She truly loves people. I don't. I'm gonna be real honest. I believe in human rights. I believe it is the right thing. Do I love all of humanity? Absolutely not. We can be freaking horrible. But I get in these spheres where everybody's like, we just love people. And I'm like, I know. I'm just doing it because it's the right thing to do. Like I love some people. I love a great deal of people, but I don't like love humanity or all of humanity or every single person. I will show kindness. I will show compassion. But no, I don't love humanity. So I think I understand what you're, like the whole angel stuff and all of that. I'm just like, nope, I'm here because it's the right thing to do. I'm not here out of any sense of like overwhelming love. But there are people who are, and we all make a great mix. So, but yeah, I kind of stop them on the whole angel thing too. Like, no, that's the thing is we're humans. We're good and we're bad. We're complicated. We're this amazing mix of just complicated emotions and feelings, and not one of us is 100% good, which probably means there's not one of us 100% bad. So it's just easiest and the right thing to do to say each human deserves human rights. We all deserve to be treated and have our basic needs met. And that's just like a hard line to me. Noodles said you love me. Yes, I love you, Noodles. And I'm going to continue to cheer for you. Like that is awesome. And I just think it's amazing. So good job. I am sending so much love to you. And I'm excited for you. But yeah, it's getting late. I should probably get off of here, but I really wanted to share with you guys the blanket and just kind of how work is and also that I've been struggling. I think that's an important part of coming on here is not waiting all the time until everything is just hunky dory because sometimes I forget that I went through things. And the truth is that sometimes knowing that somebody else is going through it can help you if you're going through it too. And it just kind of gives us maybe something to lean on a little bit. At least maybe for me it does. So I put it out there, and if people can empathize and it helps, then awesome. And if not, I have enjoyed the conversation. Let us see Beans. Okay. Oh, come here. Can you say hi? Can you say hello? Is you the Beans? Are you the beaniest beans? You is the beaniest beans ever, huh? Mwah. She the beaniest beans. The beanie baby. My sweetie. Um, there we go, Angie. That's so true. We do what we're to do and going above. It's a win for the person, not me. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your honesty. It's a process. Thank you for giving her the love boot in the butt. Absolutely. Anytime. I think she's rolling around on my certificate of appreciation right now. Look at this. Okay, let's see if I can turn the phone on. Ma'am, that's my certificate. I earned that. You didn't do anything. It is now her certificate. She got her cameo. She is definitely happy now. She is such a little love bug. But anyway, you guys, sending so much love out there and happy holidays. I will be on, definitely not tomorrow or the next day, but I am hoping to come on and do some painting with you guys. I got sent some new paints, so I'm all stocked up. And I have decided to turn that little back room into a studio. So I think it'd be cool if you guys came with me and just kind of decorated my little studio with me. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Happy holidays. Bye.